All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Under the Dome, the pre-draft edition, Draft Eve. I'm gonna warn you ahead of time, Bob. I've been teaching sixth grade social studies since about March, and
Nice. So they're more educated on American history than whoever.
One would hope. One would
the man,
hope.
the man that claims to be the ruler. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, more than the average Twitter or Facebook
or
user
that
as well. So
yeah.
They found me on social media. They found me on YouTube, and everyone has told me they've now subscribed to the podcast. And
Nice.
I've had to show a few clips from us, our last show we did, and I'm like, okay, guys, if you want to listen, you're not tired of hearing me. You actually want to listen to. Let me see. I think they're already commenting. There they are. Yep. Riley from second period B joining. Yeah. So like I said, I guess they're not tired of me lecturing to them. They actually want to listen to me for another hour and a half, this time talking about Saints football. So there you go.
Well, I'm hoping it doesn't last an hour and a half. I'm dragging already.
Oh, look at this. You're bored already. Okay. Bob, before we get started on mock draft, do you have a gut feel for who you kids? Do you have a gut feel for who the Saints could take possibly in the first round? Are they going to stick at 8? And if they do, who do you think they're going to take?
I do think that they stick at 8, Alan, and I know a lot of the national prognosticators who typically don't bother doing any homework whatsoever when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. I know that a lot of predictions have the Saints trading up because it's Mickey Loomis, and Mickey Loomis trades up. But I really don't think they do that. I think that they're going to do their best to stay at all 8 picks that they have. Maybe even trade back at some point in later rounds and pick up a couple more. And as far as the feeling I get, I don't think that they're enamored with any one particular player, but I've always felt, well, let me back up. Since free agency, and they focused on checking off the need at guard with David Edwards, checking off the need at running back with Travis Etienne. Since then, I felt pretty strongly that they were going to go best defensive player on the board with a probable lean towards edge rusher if any of the 3 top ones are there. Now, obviously, it's the NFL draft where the best plans go awry quickly, but that's just kind of has been my gut feeling about the Saints since free agency.
You know, I've run about 100 mocks, and they've gone all over the place. But consistently, Caleb Downs is there. Mansour Delane is generally there. Ruben Bain falls most of the time. After that, it kind of goes a little wild. Sometimes I get this wild one where David Bailey's there. I've been getting Jeremiah Love there a lot now, especially once the Giants and the Bengals executed that trade. So if I had to make a bet, I think it's either be Caleb Downs or Jordan Tyson at 8. Because of 2 things. Number one, Moore has talked about getting more speed on this team. Well, that's Jordan Tyson right there. And the other thing is Caleb Downs really, really fits kind of what Brandon Staley wants in his defense. He's a roving safety who can play in the box, can play single high, can play that, nickel back, can do all kinds of things for you. Kind of like how he used that, I can't think of the player's name now, from Los Angeles.
Derwin James.
Derwin James, thank you. I kept wanting to call him Jarvis for some reason, but yeah, Derwin James. Kind of like how he used him, kind of like his joker on the defense. So I kind of see where that fits in. But other than that, I think Kellen Moore goes to bed every night with a picture of Jeremiah Love next to his bed. There's his wife, his kids, and there's Jeremiah Love because he sees him as his Saquon Barkley, from when he was with the Eagles. And the wild cards for me in the first round, Arizona obviously at 3 because they're openly shopping that pick, because they need so much. But the other wild card for me really is 6, behind the Giants at 5. Can you move to 6 and get, if Love falls that far, if he gets past Tennessee and he gets past the Giants, who I think are taking Sonny Styles, for them suddenly to start saying, "Oh, we don't like Sonny Styles," that tells me you're taking Sonny Styles. So if somehow we can get Love to fall to 6, then I can see a trade up. The only other place I can see them trading up is the 2 fourths they've got at 132 and 136, moving up.
Yes.
Either the top of the 4th, near the top of the 4th, or if they really can get it, the bottom of the 3rd. But that's really the only moves I see. And I think to get the bottom of the 3rd, you probably throw in one of those 5th round picks they've got. Possibly taking the 4th and 5th round pick back to Seattle to get the bottom of their 3rd round pick. The bottom of the 3rd round, their pick. So, I mean, that's kind of how I see it. I don't know much more than that.
And and here's my thought on that. If Jeremiah Love is available at 8, and we've talked about it, I don't care who you have in the backfield. Love is a difference maker. I liken that to when in 1998 when Randy Moss was available for the Minnesota Vikings, and they already had a future Hall of Famer in Chris Carter and a perennial Pro Bowler in Jake Reed. You still take Randy Moss. Trading up to get Love, that's where I have a problem. And I've always applauded the Saints for, you identify the player that you like and then you go get them. I like that aggressiveness, but this team has major needs at edge rusher, wide receiver, and cornerback in that order. And if you trade up even from 8 to 6, and 6 is where the Cleveland Browns sit. The Cleveland Browns are notorious for trading back and forth, so I do see some movement there. You trade up to get Love, and you have yourself a dynamic offensive weapon, but you stripped yourself of at least one pick to get a cornerback, an edge rusher, a wide receiver, all of which you still need if you take Love. So I think if the Saints trade up, I think it's to get one of those positions of need, edge rusher or wide receiver specifically.
So we've talked about it off and on all throughout the season, the off season, but who do you see, what positions, I should say, do you see that the Saints need to address? And if you can put them in some kind of order, where would you go? If you're the GM of the Saints, what positions are you attacking? And probably what order would you want to do it? Because I agree with you.
Are you talking early rounds? Because we both acknowledge there's still a need. There's a major need at nose tackle, and there's a need at guard still. So are you talking with early round picks? Okay.
Oh, just kind of in general. Like if you had to stack your board and you say, okay, I'm gonna stack it by need, and I'm gonna go. Let's say edge first. I'm taking an edge at 8 if I can, if there's one there. Priority, I guess. Like for me, it's edge, wide receiver, cornerback, defensive tackle, interior offensive line in that order.
That's the exact order I have it too. Now again, and I don't get me wrong, I love Akeem Mesidor. I love Malachi Lawrence. But if the top 3 edge rushers, David Bailey, Reuben Bain, Arvell Reese, if they're gone at 8, then I look at the wide receivers that are left or the cornerbacks that are left. And if any of those top players from my board are still there, then I take that position and hope a Lawrence, a Messidor, a Zion Young is available to me in the second round.
Yeah. And that's another possibility that could happen because Seattle supposedly is shopping the number 32 pick.
Right. So another team notorious for draft movement.
Yes. So, in my world, I guess, if the Saints trade the third round pick, for example, to move up from 8 to 6, because I think that's what it would cost to do that. They take Love. Then they come back at pick 32 and trade pick 42 and maybe a conditional third in 2027 or something like that to take pick 32 and then go back and try and grab a receiver or an edge rusher there. Maybe a TJ Parker, maybe a Messidor if he falls that far. I don't think he will. I think he'll go in the late 20s. But, someone like that, you make it hard on yourself because now you don't pick again to the fourth round.
Right.
You're short a receiver. You would have had to have taken, if you moved up from 8 to 6, you took Love, you took an edge rusher. Now you don't have a receiver. Now you don't have a cornerback. And to me, that's when you get in trouble. That's the hard part about all this. And this is just like I said last year when we were talking about all this. I don't know if I would feel comfortable sacrificing a pick that could address a need.
Exactly.
I would love to have Love because I think he's a dynamic player. And I think he does something that no one else on this team can do. Mm-hmm. And I'm including HN. I think he's a powerful inside runner with speed. And if you're going to run a lot of inside zone concepts with this team, and I think he takes tremendous pressure off of Tyler Shuck to avoid the second and long situations that he found himself in too often last year, and he was able to bail himself out. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think he'll be able to do that consistently for 17 games next year. HN can do some things for you, but I don't think he can bail you out consistently like that. And I think a guy like Love can, especially if you become a left-handed team and you're running behind Banks and Edwards. Mm-hmm. So it's why I put Nicholas Singleton in a lot of my drafts, on day 3, because he's an inside runner with speed. Yeah. But that's kind of how I've been seeing it too. So let's say those top 3 edge rushers are gone. Oh, yeah. Let's say those top 3 edge rushers are gone and we take a Caleb Downs or Jordan Tyson. Who's your next tier realistically? If you stay at 8, who's your next tier that you're looking at realistically at edge rusher in second round?
Well, we mentioned Akeem Messidor, and this is a player I like a lot. Yeah. In addition to him, I love Malachi Lawrence from UCF. Mm-hmm. I really, really like Zion Young from Missouri. He's a lengthier version of Ruben Bain, if I'm breaking down film. So he can give you some run defense too. And as far as situational pass rushers go, at least at the onset of their career, the kid from Oklahoma, R. Mason Thomas, and the kid from Texas A&M, Cassius Howe. They'll give you a pass rush. They won't give you any run defense, so you still have to scheme for that on that side. Mm-hmm. But they'll juice up your pass rush in a big way if they're available to you in day 2.
Well, I keep wanting to call him C. Thomas Howell. That's where my mind goes. Wolverines. But the only problem I have with the kid from Oklahoma, and I like Howell too. But the only problem I have with the kid from Oklahoma is he's a little light in the pants.
Very.
R. Mason Thomas. But he actually was a pretty good run defender at Oklahoma.
He was willing. He just physics are physics. So he's going to get plowed over in the NFL when teams scheme to run right at him.
Yeah, and you would have to bring in a bigger defensive tackle on his side to kind of collapse that inside lane so he can use his speed and tackling ability to kind of get one-on-one so he gets the guys on the outside. Riley posts up there, who do we think the Saints need the most? And she's got quarterback. Thank God we don't have to deal with that. I think Tyler Shuck is the man. Shuck has got it. And I was just listening to Rich Eisen's podcast before we came on the air. And, here they are talking about Carson Beck possibly being a late first round, early second round pick.
Yep.
You don't know how much I thank God that we are not having this conversation about Carson Beck, Ty Simpson, Garrett Nussmeier.
Yep.
All those guys. Hell, I like Drew Allar coming into this season.
I wasn't going to remind the public of that, but you went ahead and did it for me.
Yeah, Cade Klubnik was a hot name too coming into this year. This was supposed to be a really good draft class of quarterbacks, and we were told over and over and over again last year, don't waste your time drafting a quarterback because your class in 2026 is going to be so much better.
Yep.
And we're kind of hearing it again for 2027. They're
very
hyping
much.
the 27 class saying there's going to be so much talent in that 2027 class coming out. Does Manning turn around his Arch Manning turn his career around and have a Mendoza-like rise on the board? The kid from South Carolina, does he turn it on? The kid from Texas A&M, is he the guy? Is he that multi-threat running, passing quarterback that the league has sort of turned into now? And it's just funny to think about that because you hear this every year, and then when the draft class actually comes and we've watched a season of them, people just end up going, I'm not that impressed. That don't impress me much, So I'm very happy we don't have to have that conversation right now.
Yeah, for at least a year.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too is, and you don't see it as much up in Pittsburgh, but down here, Tyler Shuck has been at everything.
Yeah.
And then the most recent thing he's been working on at Tulane with it's OTAs have started. Any receiver that is on the team, he's out there throwing the ball with them. Practice squad guys, all those guys out there. And it's like he is borrowing the Drew Brees playbook as far as public appearances and getting the public to rally around him. His wife just had a baby. And this dude is like at monster truck rallies, and he's at the facility reffing a flag football game for girls. He's doing everything. So I think he has bought himself a few bad games, and people are going to still like him. So
he has, I'd like to remind people, and this, I really like Tyler Shuck coming into last year's draft. I was really impressed with his film breakdown when he was healthy, and everything like that. And while I'm not ready to anoint him as the next franchise quarterback after a half season of work, I don't think you can deny that you had to like what you saw last year. And now obviously he could fall flat on his face next year. And in 2027,
Absolutely.
we're talking about, do the Saints need to draft a quarterback in the first or second round again? I don't think that that'll happen, but you never know.
Yeah.
All of us experienced NFL fans remember the rookie year that Rick Meyer had.
Yes.
One rookie of the year, it looked like it was drawing comparisons to Joe Montana and this and that and everything else. And by the end of that second year, Meyer was benched and looking for a new job and bouncing from team to team by year 3.
Well, what was funny about him, and I don't know how you missed that in the scouting of him.
I know.
But he couldn't see his left side. It wasn't a physical problem. He just never threw to his left. He did not see anything coming from that side, did not like the throw to that side. And teams figured that out by year 2. And he still got Randy Mueller still got a first round pick out of Chicago for it.
Yeah.
It was amazing. In fact, if you want to watch one of the worst football games ever played, go put on the 1997 Bears Saints game in Soldier Field. Mike Dicker's return to Soldier Field. It was on TNT. Vern Lundquist, I think, does this game. No, it wasn't Vern Lundquist. It was Skip Carey, or maybe Pat Hayden and Skip Carey. I don't remember who used to do TNT. I think it was Skip Carey from used to do the Braves game. But Rick Meyer's in that game, and he's awful. The only person who's worse than him is the Saints quarterback, Heath Schuler. It's just, and it's a fumble fest, and it's just football incompetence to the highest order. And Randall the Thrill Hill scores a touchdown at the end of the game on a big deep pass from Heath Schuler, one of his 2 touchdown passes he threw as a Saints quarterback. So it is quite honestly, and I've watched a lot of bad Saints football. That has got to be one of the worst Saints football games in recent memory. I don't know where they go. I mean, we're going to run the mock right now, but defense, I would lean towards defense, but it depends on what's available. To me, it's the offensive tackles, and those 2, number 3 pick and number 6 pick, the Browns and the Cardinals, are the wild cards. If no one takes offensive tackles, the Saints are screwed at 8. If 2 offensive tackles go, the Saints have a great shot of getting one of their guys there at 8. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I've done enough mocks that I don't know. I'm going to run the ESPN mock. The one I like best, Pro Football Network, is kind of wonky. If I wait too long to do something, it kicks me out and starts over again. And I don't know why it does it, but it does. So we're going to use the ESPN one. The draft simulator is somewhat goofy, but it's predictable. I think this is Mel Kiper's board. All right. You can't do trades. We're not going to do trades. And guys, I tried to figure out, Jerry asked at the beginning, why didn't we come on Tuesday night and we came on tonight? It's draft. It's the day before the draft. I thought, we would get the latest and greatest news if someone did a pre-draft trade. No one's done one since the Bengals traded away the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence. What do you think of that trade, by the way? Because that happened between our shows.
Yeah, it did. And man, the Bengals need a brain reset in their front office.
Well, it's Mike Brown.
Right. And listen, Dexter Lawrence is a really good player. And for a polished pass rusher, who is still, I guess, in his prime, you could see a first-round pick. But the reason why I said that about the Bengals is they traded the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence immediately re-signed him or signed him to a
extension,
to a long-term extension. they could have kept the 10th pick and paid roughly the same amount of money to Trey Hendrickson, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't get the logic in Cincinnati. I just don't. And they're squandering. People yelled at the Saints, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton, for squandering Drew Brees' prime, most of Drew Brees' prime years. What the Bengals are doing with Joe Burrow is downright criminal.
Well, and my thing is, if you would have kept Hendrickson and then made the trade for Dexter Lawrence, I'm going, okay, now I start seeing the logic. Okay, we are building up for a run. Okay, we're going to upgrade our defensive line. We're going to get a big body in the middle to kind of, push the pocket. And I've got an edge rusher that's coming. Who's my edge rusher on this team?
Right.
And I just traded away the 10th overall pick.
I was going to say you can't draft one because you just traded the pick.
Yeah. So I can understand the logic if I am a team that I think I am one or two players away from making a run, but you aren't one or two players away from making a run on that defense. Mm-hmm. You're likely firing that coach after this year because he should have gotten fired last year.
Yeah.
And he didn't. I don't understand. A lot of teams are praising. I praising the move. I can't see trading the 10th overall pick, not just for one player. I would have taken a 10th pick. You would have gotten a 10th pick, a player, and another pick. You would have had to give me another pick. I would have taken Lawrence and another pick. Mm-hmm. I'm not just doing a swap. Because you're giving the Giants exactly what they wanted. They got, with the 5 and 10 pick, one of them is going to be Sonny Styles, and the other is likely going to be Jordan Tyson. They're doing what the Saints are trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay, but they've got the 2 picks to do it. So, let's see if they updated this thing. Yeah, now they got the Giants at 10. Okay. The last time I went on ESPN's draft simulator, they just had 10. You just skipped over it. It was the weirdest thing. I was like, what the hell? So, like I said, I've been running all these different mocks to see which ones work the best. ESPN uses Mel Kiper's board, so it's going to be very predictable. All the guys that he likes are going to go first. So I'm not doing any trades. You're not getting Love. You're not getting those kind of guys. We'll see who falls. All right. So we're starting this. I'm going fast. So. There goes Love to the Jets. See, okay, so the offensive lineman didn't go. So we got Mwaga, I think that's how you say his name, from Miami available, Mansour Delane available, Ruben Bain available, Malachi Lemon available, Jordan Tyson available, Monroe Freeling available, and the tight end from Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq, available. So who went? So Mendoza went to the Raiders. The Jets took Love. Bailey went to the Cardinals. Reese went to the Titans. I got to say Reese and the Love and Reese pick have to flip.
Yeah.
Tate went to the Giants. Styles went to the Browns. And Caleb Downs went to the Commanders right in front of the Saints.
Okay.
So who would you take out of those available players? I guess we can cross out Mwaga. We don't need another offensive tackle. But you got Delane, Bain, Lemon, Sadiq, and Tyson.
Bain. And I have zero hesitation. That's who I had in my mock draft that I did with the Saints wire. I like Jordan Tyson. If he stays healthy, he could be a magnificent receiver. And you said Downs was still available too? Or
no, Downs went right before. Delane from LSU.
Because I look at it this way. Say the Saints make no draft picks whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Look at who they have on their roster at edge rusher. Who's opposite Chase Young? Carl Granderson. All right, he gives you a few nice games. He's not a consistent starter. Who do you have at wide receiver? Chris Olave. They really like, and I really like Jalen Polk and Devon Vele, but they're still unproven.
Yeah.
Who do you have at cornerback? You have Riley, you have McKinstry. That's a pretty good duo, and you just re-signed the versatile safety Blackman, where you could play him in the slot if you have to.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, I feel a lot comfortable with the roster at wide receiver and defense, we'll call it defensive back, than I do edge rusher. That's why I take Bain if he's on the board.
You know, and looking at this group here, and this is me going through so many mocks that I've kind of figured out the algorithm on most of them. You need a cornerback. You need that third corner. Delane can become your outside corner.
Mm-hmm.
So you could theoretically either move Kool-Aid or Riley down to the slot. Probably Kool-Aid at this point. Okay. But I also feel like corner is deep enough that I can get a better corner or get a good corner in the third round.
Exactly. I feel that way too.
Or fourth round. I've even gotten them as late as the fourth round. Receiver is deep enough that I can get one in the second. I probably am not going to be able to get one in the third, though. Nothing's wrong with Surratt. He's probably the most common to go down to me in the third. But the other ones are like Skylar Bell, Hurst, maybe. Ted Hurst, maybe.
Stribling.
Stribling, yeah. Jacoby Lane, those kind of guys. Not guys that are really ready, plug and play kind of guys. Guys that need some development or need to be in a workout room. So, I'm leaning with you on Bain. I like Lemon. Tyson, he can either be the next Randy Moss or the next I'm trying to think of a good comparison. He's like almost, I don't want to say Davenport because that's not quite accurate, but who was that linebacker that we got from Baltimore during the Peyton years? Yeah, Donnell Ellaby. He is another. He reminds me of a receiver version of Donnell Ellaby. I was going to equate him to a sports car. Great looking car, awesome when you get to drive it, but it's always in the damn shop.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel about him. It's like I love him, and I think it would be awesome to have with the Saints. I think he'd be a big play machine, but I dread reading from Rod Walker, from Nick Underhill, John Hendricks, all the people who are the Saints beat reporters, not spotted at practice today. Jordan Tyson, we saw him for a little while working out with a trainer on the sidelines. We asked Kellen Moore about when will Tyson see the field, and the word process comes up about 100 times. Well, it's a process. He's going through the process. He's on almost on the other side of the process. It's a good process, a good system. I can't deal with that.
No.
Only thing it's missing from it, you'll see him sooner rather than later. So we're going to take Bain here. Draft Bain, boom, he's gone. Delane went to the Chiefs next. Tyson went to the Giants, as predicted. All right, there goes Denzel Boston. Ooh, look at this. Okay. Wow. So here's what we have at pick 42. Anthony Hill, the linebacker from Texas. Ty Simpson from Alabama, which we don't need. Brandon Cease, is it Cease or Sissy?
The cornerback from
cornerback in South Carolina. I'm not even going to attempt to say his offensive tackle's name from Arizona State because we're not taking him. The only two receivers that are on the board, Chris Brazell and Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. Gabe Lucas, the edge rusher, and Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech. Now, for those curious, Malachi Fields is the next receiver, and Antonio Williams There's Aaron Mason Thomas. Looks like let's see, where did he go?
You're looking for Chris Bell.
Yeah, Chris Bell went off the board. Where is Chris Bell? Chris Bell did not get drafted. Where the hell is he? That's Chris Johnson, the cornerback. Went to the Texans. The Bengals took to your defensive tackle, Christian Miller. Why would they do that? Why would they do that?
They're the
Whatever.
Bengals.
And it's also this algorithm they have here. You know, that's the one player you don't take. Oh, I've not been paying attention to this. We've got some comments here. Aloha, 1683. No chance in hell we're taking Tyson at 8. Simply not happening. Yes, today is my anniversary, and you know what? 31 years ago, I was at an NFL draft fest, so you know, it's my wife's used to it by now. Yes, Ian Rappaport showed a video of Chris Bell running 18 miles an hour on a treadmill. I put the $6 million man music and the bionic sound effect as he was doing, because if you're running on a treadmill and you're my age, you're seeing somebody running on a treadmill, you're hearing the bionic sound effect in your head, especially somebody reconstructed knee surgery. So yes, absolutely. At least in my head, that's what I used to do. Yeah, 31 years, Jerry, 31 years. All right, so let me look at this thing here then. Where do they have Chris Bell rated? If he is still available. Chris Bell they have is the 77th pick in this draft.
I mean, you won me. You won me at Chris Bell still on the board. ESPN will grade our draft low because of where they have him ranked. But again, I had him as my second round pick in my Saints Wire mock draft.
I've had him second round pick almost every time.
Yeah. Now, it would not surprise me. Chris Bell is on my short list of surprise first-round picks because to me, it wouldn't be that much of a surprise. He was a first-round pick before he blew out his knee. No doubt about it. So you're talking about a talented player who looks to be fully recovered. He's certainly going to be completely cleared by training camp, if not sooner. He has a rapport with Tyler Shuck. There's other receivers that I love in this draft. Casey Concepcion, I've mentioned Stribling a couple times. Elijah Surratt. Chris Bell is at the top of that list. If he's still available, he's a Saint.
Yeah, and your quarterback's calling for him. I mean, you know, he was a former teammate, the whole bit, you know. Yeah, I'm very leery of Tennessee quarterbacks. Jeremy Bernard is an interesting player to me because he's got a lot of Deebo Samuel in him because of the way Alabama had to use him, and it worked for them. I don't know. I don't think he has the size of Deebo to do that at the NFL level, but he gives you those options. Maybe on a jet sweep, maybe on something like that, him lined up in the backfield, running a wheel route or some concept that way. But yeah, here's the other ones: Antonio Williams, Malachi Fields, Ted Hurst, Skylar Bell, a guy that has already gone off the board, and I think he's going to fall now because he got arrested. The Georgia receiver. I mean, it's fitting. A week after the Masters, you know, a tradition like no other. Georgia player getting arrested. But yeah, you know, I think he's going to fall to the second or third round now. From the second to the third, you know, he's kind of a one-trick pony. He's a speed guy, but still, I mean, that's in the modern game. That's kind of what you need now as a speed guy. So, all right, so we're going to take Chris Bell. Just out of curiosity, I looked at my cornerbacks. Keontae Scott, Malik Muhammad, D'Angelo Pons, Keith Abney, and the kid from Ohio State, Davison Ingebrigtsen. Oh God, that's me butchering that guy's name. Are still all on the board too. But like I said, I'm worried about a run on receivers there's a long gap between 42 and 73.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my receiver now. So we're gonna take Bell here. We're gonna get a low grade, but screw him. I'm just watching here go the receivers and the cornerbacks too. All right. So now we're in round 3, pick 73. Josiah Trotter, the linebacker from Missouri. Max Clare, the tight end from Ohio State. I've seen his name pop up a few times in the third round. D'Angelo Pounds has fallen to the third round. Ted Hurst, like I expected, from Georgia State, the receiver. Jason Kilgore, the safety from South Carolina. Skylar Bell, the other receiver I've seen fall a lot. Elijah Surratt is there in the third round. Stribling, still there in the third round. Keon Crawford, the edge rusher from Auburn. Dominique Orange, defensive tackle from Ohio State. And sneaky need that the Saints do need. Sam Hike from Kansas State, the center guard. Where do you want to go from here? Around this time, I'm looking at defensive tackles and cornerbacks. Generally, when I do my mocks, defensive tackles that are still on the board that I like. So Dominique Orange is still there. He's the highest rated one. Chris McKellen is an interesting one. He is ranked 109 on ESPN's thing, but Chris McKellen has been rising on these boards lately. I don't know why. I like him, and I like DeMonte Capehart, the two defensive tackles. Capehart's at 122. Chris McKellen's at 109. Our next pick is 132.
Right.
Sometimes Capehart makes it there. Sometimes he doesn't.
And Dominique Orange is in that same range.
Yeah.
I had Dominique Orange going to the Saints in the 4th round of my Saints Wire mock draft.
Okay.
Because I went cornerback at 73 in the 3rd round. Now, you mentioned Chris Johnson was gone. Keontae Scott, I thought you said was gone.
He is. Yeah.
Traden Stukes. He's been talked about. Is it okay? But you did say Pons was there.
Pons is still there, and I think it's his height that's working against him.
I think so too. I think that's why he's a 3rd, 4th round range. But he's physical and he can play the slot. Yeah. That allows you to leave Riley and McKinstry outside. Pons actually has some decent blitzing numbers. He's no Alontae Taylor blitzing from the slot, but he can cause some disruption. Yeah, based off of that, and I acknowledge the need for defensive tackle. I acknowledge the fact that I have draft crushes on both Surratt and Stribling, but I got my wide receiver. I got my edge rusher. I got to check cornerback off here and go Pons.
And Pons is the highest rated corner, so I'm going to go with you. I like the corner from Ohio State a lot as well. He is more of an outside corner, but that's fine with me. As far as versatility, Will Lee from Texas A&M. I really like this kid. And Takario Davis, who for some reason is ranked at 115, and I've seen him ranked a lot higher. Those two guys are guys that I've liked in the 3rd round. Devin Moore is a Sean Payton, Dennis Allen pick if I ever saw one. The kid is all world, but is one concussion away from being out of football too. Yeah. He's had several concussions. He's, had injuries and stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. I know none of these guys are going to be on the board if we don't pick a corner now, because Charles Demings, the Stephen F. Austin kid, is always there in the 4th round.
And I like him.
Yeah. But, once you get to Charles Demings and you're looking at Prizecock from Washington, Damani Jackson from Alabama, Masses from California, Julian Neal from Arkansas, those are the guys you're looking at. And those are more developmental guys. Pons, Davison, Igmerson from Ohio State, and Will Lee, those 3 are guys that I can see you can kind of plug in pretty quickly. There's not a big wait for those guys to get ready. Uh, Dalen Everett, Takario Davis, those guys are probably more special teams, developmental guys you're looking at for next year. So we're going to take Pons because he's the highest rated guy. He's going to make up for our Chris Bell pick, according to ESPN. So we're taking Pons. He's gone. Yeah. And here we go. All right. So there goes some defensive tackles. Drew Allard went. Nice. Will Lee just went. Some tight ends have gone now. Wow. Oscar Delp. There's somebody I'm always trying to get in the fourth round. That's a guy, if we're going to trade 2 fourth-round picks to move up to get, that's who I want to go get. I don't know why. I have a man crush on Oscar Delp. I think it's because he's coming from Georgia, and I think about the tight ends that come from Georgia. You and I have talked about the need for the Saints to get a tight end. I think he can be an inline blocker, not a great pass catcher, but somebody you can at least catch. Kind of an upgrade from a young Foster Moreau kind of guy who has the potential to be kind of I don't want to say Ben Watson because that's not fair, but he can be a better pass catcher along the lines of an older Ben Watson. So, all right. So here we are. Texas A&M's defensive tackle, Tyler Onyem. I don't even know how to say his name. Oindem. I don't know who that is. That's one guy I've not seen very often. But I do see a player that I like that's in here. So we have that's our best defensive tackle. We have Inez Cooper from Miami, the offensive guard. Takario Davis is still on the board. Eli Reedon from Notre Dame, the tight end, Notre Dame tight end. Nicholas Singleton from Penn State. VJ Payne from Kansas State. Emmett Johnson, the running back from Nebraska. And Jaden Kennedy from the safety from Oregon. Who is your favorite here?
You and I both really like Nick Singleton. And I had him in my mock draft with Saints Wire. I had him drop into the 6th round.
Wow.
I do think he drops to day 3, but I don't think he drops that far. So adding a Nick Singleton, make no mistake, guys, and I've written this a lot. I don't care whether they signed Travis Etienne or not. I still think the same. In fact, I still fully expect the Saints to add another running back because they are preparing this depth chart for being without Alvin Kamara in 2027.
Yeah.
You said it about Kendre Miller that you don't believe. You think you've said you don't even think he makes the team. I think that there's a strong chance of that. Devin Neal, they like, but again, just like Vele and Polk, still relatively unproven. I think the Saints get another running back somewhere in this range. You mentioned Emmett, you mentioned Nick Singleton. Nick Singleton, and it's not just because he and Saquon Barkley came from Penn State. If you look at the film, Saquon sees holes better than Nick, but outside of that, they have very, very similar running styles. And Nick Singleton, good receiver out of the backfield, outstanding kickoff returner. These are 2 things that were missing from the Saints last year.
Yeah.
I know this team needs a guard. I know they need a nose tackle, but I think Kellen Moore checks running back off the list right here based off of the names that you read off. And I go with Nick Singleton.
I do too. Inez Cooper, we pick again in a couple 4 picks. So Inez Cooper may still be there. Jeremiah Wright is still there. That's somebody the Saints are actually interested in. Bo Stevens from Iowa. I'm just going through this right now, looking center-wise. You got a couple guys that are centers. Matt Gulbin from Michigan State. Pat Coogan from Indiana. Jager Burton. Those guys are still out there. They have him rated very low. To me, we haven't talked about a linebacker the linebacker class is not particularly strong this year.
A lot of aggressive but undersized guys.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because I'm looking at Justin Jefferson right there from Alabama. He fits the mold. He's aggressive. He's fast, but he's undersized. He's almost a safety size. He's 6 foot 222. And the other guys, I just don't. I really don't see a fit for the Saints. I mean, that's why a Sonny Styles is considered a top 5 pick because he kind of fits that mold. And then some of these other guys are really more edge rushers than they are inside, weak side linebackers. So, it's a tough year to go look for a linebacker.
It is. Now, I mean, I like Kyle Lewis from Pitt. I like Drew Watts, from Memphis. But they're both, again, undersized guys, really good sideline to sideline, but they get hung up in traffic. They get overwhelmed in short yardage situations. And, you look at the linebackers that Brandon Staley has on that roster right now. They brought back Caden Ellis to replace, to fill the loss of Demario Davis. Caden Ellis, big guy. They drafted, your guy Stutzman last year. Big guy. None of these guys fit that profile. So
yeah, exactly. Just out of curiosity, DeMonte Capehart went at 129. Devin Moore, the cornerback, went to the Dolphins, and Dalen Everett, another cornerback I've selected several times out of Georgia, he went to the Patriots right before us. So I took Nicholas Singleton, the defensive tackle from Texas A&M, just went to the 49ers. For some reason, the Notre Dame tight end went to the Raiders. I don't know why, but he did. The Steelers took Tacario Davis, so now on the board, we're back to Inez Cooper from Miami, VJ Payne, the safety from Kansas State, Emmett Johnson's still there, Jaden Kennedy from Oregon. His problem is he's undersized.
Yeah.
He's a small safety. So he'll give you the coverage, he'll make the interceptions, but he can't hit. And he's probably not going to be a hitter. Chandler Rivers, the cornerback from Duke. Joe Royer, Cincinnati tight end. I don't know anything about him. Albert Regis, the defensive tackle from A&M, is still there. There's not a whole heck of a lot left. Jeremiah Wright is at 140 as they're in their rankings. So would you take Inez Cooper from Miami here?
I do go guard here. I go either Inez Cooper or Jeremiah Wright. Is Bo Stevens still there? Because that's who I had going in this range and my Saints Wire mock.
Yeah, let me look here. I think he is. He is ranked 172 in this one.
Okay. And we know the Saints have had numerous meetings with Jeremiah Wright. I would say they go. I would say I'd go either Wright or Inez Cooper.
I'm gonna go Inez Cooper because they have him ranked at 114. I think Wright's actually the better guard, but I'm gonna go with Inez Cooper just for the ranking here, just to see how he falls. What kind of draft grade I get for him. Plus, he comes from a national championship. He's a leader, the whole bit. So we'll take Inez Cooper here. Draft the player. All right, so we have one pick. No, we have 2 picks left. All right.
Wait a minute. What I miss? We got Bain, Bell, Pond, Singleton, and the guard. Did I miss someone?
Let me see what we got here. This is pick 150. So I'm in the 5th round. Okay,
then,
so you
then we
miss
have
anybody.
We have 3 picks left. We have 5th, and 6th.
Yeah. All right. So Wright is still there. We've got a couple of safeties on the board. Adam Randall from Clemson, the running back. Jamari Taylor, Virginia, the running back. We don't really need a running back. Wide receivers, pretty clean. Jeff Caldwell is the highest rated receiver. A lot of running backs on the board. Zane Durant from Penn State, defensive tackle. Caleb Alarms or the linebacker from TCU. Yeah, it's getting mighty thin here. Caden Curry, this is about the time Caden Curry, the edge rusher, comes up. He's rated 164. Um, yeah, Bo Stevens is still there. Yeah, Justin Jefferson, the linebacker I mentioned earlier, he's rated 181. He's still there. Defensive tackle, we have not taken a defensive tackle, I don't think. And
Nope. Is
pickings
Tim
are
Keenan
slim.
from Alabama there?
And for some reason, he is, and so is
Okay.
Dante Corleone. They've got them rated in the 200s.
Most of the mock
I think
AIs
that
I've
he's
run.
gone. Keenan's gone now.
Oh,
Where did he
okay.
go? He went. Where did Keenan go? Keenan went to the Cardinals at 143.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah,
150.
this is, 150, 172 is where I've been seeing Keenan go off.
Mm-hmm.
So if he went at 143, that's about par for the course, but for our purposes, he's not on the board anymore.
Yeah. So defensive tackles, I see Zane Durant from Penn State. Bryson Eason from Tennessee. Cameron Ball from Arkansas. The local kid, Caleb Proctor from southeastern Louisiana in Hammond. His problem, he's undersized. But he's thought of highly. Dante Corleone, his problem is he's built like a fire plug. He's 6'1" and stout. The rest of them, golly. Skylar Gill Howard's the highest rated guy I see, whose name I even recognize. The rest of these guys in the 300s, they've got him ranked so low.
I mean, I have no problem with a spark plug like Corleone. He's an early down, short yardage guy anyway.
Yeah.
And
which is kind of like what we've had on this team. That's all we got really in this team. So, I think we need to take Corleone here just because. We got screwed from the standpoint we missed out on getting Capehart. The linebackers are still out there. Caden Curry. This is the second, 5th round pick, and I think this is why the Saints are willing to trade these guys up. Wide receivers. Malik Benson starts popping up here from Oregon. Golly. Almost everybody. Eric Rivers from Georgia Tech. Eli Heinrich. They have all these guys rated really low. CJ Daniels is somebody I usually go for in the 6th round.
Yep. I just did a draft profile on him. Or published a draft profile. Yeah.
Yeah, former LSU player. So I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Let's get our nose tackle then.
Well, we grabbed him, or we grabbed Corleone.
Oh, all right. Oh, you're talking 172 now.
Yeah, we're at 172.
What are we looking at for safety and cornerback?
Okay, so safety.
I'm wondering if Devin Marshall, the cornerback from NC State, is still there, and what's there at safety.
Lorenzo Styles is still there. That's somebody I grabbed late for special teams. TJ Hall from Iowa. Efrins Pricecock from Washington is still there. Toronto Pride, the guys you just mentioned. Devin Marshall, he's still there. They have him ranked at 301. That's insane.
It is. He's a midday 3 pick.
Yeah. They're still Thaddeus Dixon too. I've had him ranked a lot higher than this. Let me see. Safety's kind of picked over pretty good.
Okay.
Jalen Husky from Maryland. That's probably the best one I see out of this group because Jaden Kennedy is still there. Michael Toffel. Bishop Fitzgerald, that's from Texas. Bishop Fitzgerald from USC. Dalton Johnson from Arizona. Deshaun Singleton from Nebraska. Lewis Moore from Indiana. Xavier, I don't even know, Nwampa from Iowa. A lot of Iowa guys in this. Yeah, safety picked over pretty good. So
they met with Deshaun Singleton, I know.
Okay.
I had at 172 in my Saints Wire mock. That's where I grabbed Devin Marshall. Out of curiosity, at wide receiver, is Harrison Wallace, Trey Wallace, still on the board?
Yes, he is from Ole Miss. They have number 209.
Okay, because I like him. Here's my thought. Because I mean, and you and I talk about this all the time. At this level of the draft, you're looking at positional value and special teams contributor.
Yep.
Harrison Wallace is a receiver I like, but I like CJ Daniels too, and I feel like he's going to be there in the 7th round or 6th round.
He will based on this thing.
Yeah. Although from the sounds of it, based off of that, Devin Marshall could be there in the 6th round too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Devin Marshall, they have rated 301. My God. Lorenzo Styles, somebody I usually went for with the 6th round pick because he's just we'll say that for the 6th round pick, but he's a 4-2 guy. That's your gunner. That could possibly be a kick returner for you. That's a special teams guy. I mean, you can't coach speed,
right?
And that guy is just incredibly fast. That if it's all he can do is be a returner, I can think of worse things that we've had.
Well, yeah, and I mean, that's also how Rashid Shaheed and Deontay Harris made the team.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, that's just how I feel on this one here. So. So where do you think you want to go here? Because we're getting to the bottom of the barrel.
And I'm tired.
Yeah, I hear you. So you want me to go? What about this? Let me just see the tight end real quick. Just curiosity. I don't see much in the tight. No, there's nothing really. Daquan Wright is probably your best tight end in this group. The Ohio State tight end is in here. Riley Nowakowski from Indiana, Matthew Hibner from SMU, Daquan Wright from Ole Miss, Dalen Bentley. I don't know why he's rated so low from Utah is in here.
Yeah.
Is there any tight end that you really like that you did a profile on?
No. Those guys are long gone. I like Delp. I like Jolly from NC State. Sadiq I like as a pass catcher, but even if I needed a tight end, I wouldn't take him in the first. He's not a 1st round tight end.
Right. Exactly.
He'll go there, but he's not one. Let me ask you this about Styles. Do you realistically see who do you see him challenging someone on the who do you see him challenging on the depth chart to either make better or take a spot from?
Probably, if I had to take a guess, and this is assuming we draft a corner as well,
right?
How maybe the safety, he started a few games and stuff, but because you brought back Blackham, I have a hard time seeing where he's going to go. This is a kid probably who gets stuck on the practice squad and maybe gets elevated on game day. It depends on how well he returns kicks. If he returns kicks, he could possibly be a 5th or 6th safety. More than likely a 6th defensive back, behind. Oh, who was the kid that we brought back from San Francisco that we didn't want to play very much? Yeah, Yidam. Possibly challenging Yidam. Those kind of guys. Ugo Amadi. You're talking about the bottom half of the roster where you're just trying to upgrade speed. But he would have to really, really, really shine on special teams. I mean, be the number 1 tackler as well as a good returner.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how JT Gray won a job too.
Oh, absolutely.
because I think the same thing with Devin Marshall. And I really liked his film as a cornerback. Got good ball skills, natural cover guy, but undersized, and doesn't give you a lot on special teams. So, I mean, we just drafted D'Angelo Pons tonight. I had drafted Chris Johnson in my first mock.
I
have my third. We have our third corner, so it's not like a Devin Marshall or a Lorenzo Styles are necessarily going to challenge for that spot that Alontae Taylor left. So at this point, I mean, you're talking value. As much as I love Devin Marshall's game defensively, I think Styles gives us more special teams, which you need to get faster on there. You just do. And I have a feeling that we can get a wide receiver, be it Trey Marshall or CJ Daniels, with our 6th round pick. I'm kind of talking myself into Lorenzo Styles here.
Okay. I'll pick Styles, and then we should be coming right up again in a minute. Caden Curry is somebody whose name I throw out there a lot at this point in the draft too, because he's a kid. I'm just like, you know what? I just love him. I just love the energy he has. And he may not be, and he just went in the draft, by the way. He took Styles. So it doesn't matter. I mean, we're just playing around here now. Okay, yeah, Justin Jefferson's still on the board. Your wide receivers, Harrison Wallace is still there. CJ Daniels is still there. Eric Rivers, Eli Heinrich is still there. Malik Benson's still there. He's probably the highest rated player left on the board, if I'm guessing. Yeah, he is. He's the highest rated player on the board. He's not anything really special.
Right.
Logan Fano, Utah Edge. So Justin Jefferson and who I like, and the receiver you like, Pat Coogan, the center from Indiana, all still on the board. Justin Jefferson usually goes in the 7th round when I've done these things. But you want to go with that receiver you picked, Harrison Wallace, or you want to go with CJ Daniels?
Well, and I love Harrison Wallace as an outside guy. Has nice ball skills, terrific leaping ability. But CJ Daniels could be a slot specialist.
I know. I like CJ Daniels a lot.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of, I don't want to say Marcus Colston because that's not fair, but he reminds me of he is a guy that he's not as physical as Colston, but he's a guy that can go inside and make the catch when we need those catches to move the chains. So,
yeah, he uses his body really well, has great coverage awareness. Wallace will give you a field stretcher, but I like a slot guy here. Of those two, I think I go CJ Daniels.
Okay. Well, that's what we're going to pick here, and that'll be our last pick of the night. Because I'm just looking to see when there was Coogan. Wow, he's still there. He's still there. He's still going, getting towards the end here. Justin Jefferson is still there. Wow. Okay, so we got grade my draft a B. We got a solid B. Capital management C because we didn't make any trades. Fulfilling needs A+. Reaches F. Probably give us an F for position value A. We probably got an F for when we took Chris Bell. Yeah, that's what they're knocking us for the most because they really love that we took Bain and Pons. Thought we took Singleton too early. Thought we took Cooper too early. They thought we wasted our time getting CJ Daniels. So, oh well, that's all right. But look, if you can get 3 starters out of this draft, Bain, Bell, and Pons, You got something there, and I think we got something with Singleton. The rest of it, Cooper, Corleone, Styles, Daniels, these are guys you're just seeing, hey, can you contribute to this team?
Right.
Can you make something of this team? And I think realistically, I mean, I've had other drafts. Okay. I've had, let me find one I just did recently. I've had a draft. I got an A for this one. I had Tyson, Howell, Stukes, and Delp and Capehart in my first 4 rounds.
I like that run too.
Yeah, and it's just the way it fell. Howell fell to me at 42, so I had to pass up Bell to take him. Stukes surprised the hell out of me that he was there at 73. I got him, and I took Delp over Singleton because Delp was still there, so I took him. Got Capehart at 136. I took Singleton's counterpart, Katron Allen, in the 5th. My guard was Reed Adams from Texas A&M, and I got C.J. Daniels at the end. So that's why I know about C.J. Daniels. I got an A for that draft. No trades. When I do trades, for some reason, I get good grades for my trades, and I get terrible grades for the players I pick. They don't like the players I got with those trades, but I'm drafting for need.
Yeah.
Last thing before we go, and I appreciate everybody sticking with us here. We're at an hour and 11 minutes. I didn't plan on going this long. Is there going to be, what would be a surprise position, I guess I should ask? What would be a surprise position for the Saints to take that you would have been like, what the hell?
So in other words, surprise is in you just made me really angry.
Anything like that, yeah. Like I would assume like an offensive tackle would probably surprise you in the first 3 rounds and probably make you angry. But I mean, I'm just saying a surprise pick in the first three rounds where you're going, what the hell? Now you just made it that much harder for you to fill your needs because you took a player that it's a good player, but did I really do a good job filling my needs by taking him where I took him?
In the first 3 rounds, a running back that isn't named Jeremiah Love. I mean, I get it, but you're talking about Jadarian Price or a Mike Washington.
That was the name I was thinking of.
Mike Washington is everybody's favorite love in the second round. I just you signed Travis Etienne presumably because you either didn't think you could get Jeremiah Love or you hedged your bets in case you couldn't. So in signing Etienne, you passed up an opportunity to spend money, free agency money, on edge rusher or wide receiver because you did it at running back. And then if you turn around and double down at running back, again, just like you said, then how are you going to fill edge, corner, or wide receiver? One of those spots are going to get overlooked just by the sheer numbers game. So, while I would love one of the 2 Penn State running backs, Singleton or Allen, I love Emmett Johnson. I wouldn't take any of them before day 3, and I think at least one of those are going to drop to day 3. As many times as I've said, folks, the Saints are going to draft another running back. I also say that unless his name is Jeremiah Love at pick 8, that running back isn't going to be until day 3. So just you draft a running back in the first, second, or third that isn't named Love. I'm gonna really be scratching my head at the vision behind it.
Yeah, and my mentality has been edge, receiver, cornerback, defensive tackle in that order, roughly the first 4 picks that we do. Mike Washington is always there in the 3rd round. Yeah, he's always there at 73.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite right now because of his combine numbers. That's why all the fan mocks have him going in the 2nd. I agree with you. I think he's there in the 3rd. But I still, if I'm the Saints, I still don't take him. I hope somebody else does to push another player down to me.
Yes, because, and this is how I started the show, and it's fitting we're going to conclude it with it. I feel if you go out of that order, edge, receiver, edge. I can even do receiver, edge. But if you do edge, receiver, if you don't take one of them in the first, if you don't take them in the first 2 rounds, and you try and be cute and take a defensive tackle early or take a cornerback early, you really screw yourself on receiver and edge in the mocks. We don't know how the real world is going to work out, but in the mocks, you screw yourself over. So when that happens, it makes it that you saw us here in the 5th and 6th round going, yeah, I don't know who to take here, and that kind of, Tim Keenan was gone, So you DeMonte Capehart was gone. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm almost like Bum Phillips. I'll trade all these damn picks, and let's go back to the track, because there's nobody in there I really like. And I think that's the problem. That's why I worry that, you get cute, take a great, you see a guard right there. He's rated highly on your board. He fills a need. You're trying to push Ruiz out of the building. I get that. But you really screw yourself when it comes to defensive tackle and cornerback if you do that early, or even receiver, so it's tough. I've tried it all. I really have. And it's the algorithm. It's all that. We'll see how it plays out tomorrow night in the real world. But as far as the algorithms in the mock drafts, I gotta stick to that kind of order. I don't want to see. I like Mike Washington. I think he puts the ball on the ground too many times. But his speed, his size, if he didn't put the ball on the ground, he'd be a low first, early second round pick guy. But he puts the ball on the ground. People see that he's going to be there in the 3rd. So, Bob, we're doing the Bayou Blitz draft show tomorrow night, correct?
Yes, we are going, and I've gotten a couple people message me and thank you, telling me how much they love our draftathon that we do every year, and where their favorite draft coverage was 2 of the messages. So we love you for that. But one of the questions I get asked is how early are you going to start before the draft? And I say not very, because this whole process, and it's exhausting to you, me, Brendan.
Oh yeah.
So and the Saints are picking early. So the draft officially starts at 8:00 Eastern, 7 Central. That's about what time we're going to be going on, folks.
Okay.
And Alan will be joining Brendan and I as you have the last couple years. I spoke to Jim Everett today. He's going to be popping in and out during all 3 days. He didn't really say when. Jim. He'll pop in out of nowhere, but he'll give some great analysis. Tyrone Hughes has joined us in and out. In the past, I haven't heard back from him yet. And I reached out to Courtney Roby this evening to see if he's willing to join us any of our 3 days too. So we're going to have a revolving door. At some point, we're hoping to invite a couple of you guys, you fans, to maybe jump in with us, perhaps for a segment on day 3 too, because y'all have been so great in supporting this draftathon that we do every year. This is my second job today at Jared. They were asking me, I was talking about the draftathon, and they said, do you like doing that? And I said, yeah. I said, it's my favorite part of the draft, actually. Because I take a break from writing and everything like that. We're punchy by the end, but we have a blast.
Well, it's great that Jim's going to join us because it's his 40th anniversary since he got drafted from Purdue. And 2 days ago was Deuce McAllister's 25 years with Deuce McAllister.
Man, we're old.
I know. Well, hey, Mark Fields is 31 years ago because that's who got drafted on my wedding day.
On your wedding.
Yeah, I was sure to inform my wife on the altar that we drafted Mark Fields from Washington because I knew she hadn't had a chance to watch TV. She was a little busy during the day, but so I had to let her know this. You can see the eye roll from her too when I told her that. I'm like, yeah, it's Mark Fields out of Washington, linebacker, pretty good player.
And he was.
And I also informed her that we took the Notre Dame fullback too. I just drew a blank on his name. And number 34, Jim Moore got pissed off. Yeah, Ray Zellers. Jim Moore got pissed off at him 2 weeks before the Chicago game. We had a big game, and then a week later was the Diddley Poo speech, which I can't believe. That's also 30 years ago this year. The Diddley Poo speech and the end of the Jim Moore era. So, God, it goes by so much faster now.
I know.
The first 19 years of John Meekham's ownership, it felt like an eternity. But and that's, I guess, success and just stability. You don't realize how fast these seasons pass. I mean, like I said earlier when we were talking about the quarterbacks, how we don't have to worry about that conversation. And I can't believe that was just last year. So anyway, Bob, try and get some sleep. Take off of work tomorrow. You have my permission. So you're well rested for Draft-a-thon. I will be on whenever you guys want me. I'll pop in, after you guys on the air. Just pull me on anytime, and I'll be ready to go.
For sure, folks, and make sure you tune in to Alan's, myself, and Brendan's pages. That's where we're going to be posting the link. The easiest thing to do is just subscribe to the Bayou Blitz and Under the Dome over on YouTube. It's free to subscribe, and you get the notifications of when we're going to go on the air too.
Absolutely. I should be on for tomorrow night and Friday night. I will not be available on Saturday. So if you guys want me, I'll be around. So meantime, thank you guys for joining all of us. I can't believe the draft is happening already. 2 weeks from now is rookie mini camp. OTAs are going on. The season's getting ready to come up already. So thank y'all, and we'll see you next time on Under the Dome. Good night, everybody.
Good night.